Anyway, when the British got to the first fort, the Pennsylvania militia and the Jersey militia were busy arguing. You stay in the fort. You stay in the fort. They both left the fort, and the Continental Marines had to go in, plug the guns, just as the British came into the fort. When the British got there, they said, these guys are cowards. They're not here. That's how that fort fell. Then this fort on this side, 1,500 Germans and English attacked that fort. It's called Fort Mercer. They had a very good trick. They emptied out half of the fort, so when the British came into the fort, they said, oh, they ran away again. And then when they got right in the middle, they all popped up. 400 British and German soldiers died that day. They captured their cannons, and they ran away. Now, this is very difficult, because these German soldiers especially are professional soldiers. They've been fighting all their lives. They've been fighting in Europe, and now they're in America, and they really think that we Americans are once again Yankee Doodles, that we really don't know what we're doing. When we got them like that, that was pretty good, because they had already beat us at 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. Not loud, right? 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Bombing this fort. The fort was all over. He got hit in the hip with a cannonball. And they took him away. He was no longer in charge. And he was also at the famous fort called Fort McHenry during the War of 1812, during that 24-hour siege, the one that we get that wonderful song from, the Star Spangled Banner. Also called an Anacreum in Heaven. So the first name of it, Anacreum in Heaven, was about a Greek god named Bacchus. And he was a god of wine and spirits. And the second one, the one that we all know, the Star Spangled Banner. So, was he lucky or was he not? Well, he didn't die in either one. Getting hit in the side with a cannonball is not too much fun, but he didn't die in either one. Samuel Smith. Samuel Smith ultimately received a sword from Congress for his service here at Fort Mifflin, and the colonel over there, Colonel Christopher Green, also received a sword from Congress. So what happened was, the British ships came up the river, and there had been a Polish engineer here. His name was Thaddeus Kosciuszko. Those of you who are from New York call him Kosciuszko, with a Kosciuszko bridge, but he's really Kosciuszko. Kosciuszko put those boxes in the river to block the river, so it would freeze. Shooting at the ship. One of the ships ran up on the sea on that side, and everybody went crazy. Mifflin went crazy. The Pennsylvania Navy, Red Bank went crazy. They're shooting. And after about 4 hours, the ship powder magazine exploded. Washington all the way up here, White Marsh, 6 miles on the other side of that Tennessee, you could hear the explosion of the HMS Augusta. So we were winning. Finally, we did something great. Well, the British didn't care. They kept surrounding this place and bombing this place. Eventually, they got rid of all the wooden walls. Eventually, they got rid of all the wooden houses inside by bombing, and then they were ready to invade. We knew they were ready to come along shore, so that night, November 15th, 1777, all the soldiers who were left mounted boats and sailed across to Fort Mercer. On the next day, the British Royal Marines came over the walls to find the fort empty.
What do you think of the soldiers?
White Marsh Washington took the whole army and took them to Valley Forge. So, I told you the two colonels received special swords, and that was special. So questions about the top. All right, then let's go downstairs. Now the West Virginians said, hey, we don't want to be part of West Virginia anymore. And the Virginians said, you can't do that. And they said, wait a minute, you just did that, didn't you? You just left the United States? How come we can't leave Virginia? And they said, you can't do that. So West Virginia was added during the war. Nevada was added during the war. So in the course of the war, we could have gone anywhere from 34 stars to 35 stars to 36 stars.
That is opening day.
Don't open it.
You know what I say about this flag? I say this is the flag of freedom. Right? During the Civil War, the fort was used as a prison Many of the prisoners were locked up here in the...
Okay, here I come.
Watch your heads, you know what I'm talking about. You see those doors. Now these portals were something that you could use to shoot out at people who were advancing and coming close to the sally port, the door that you just came in. So you can shoot out these things at the people who were advancing, and they go all the way back. In this area, we have many pieces of graffiti, right? So we're not going to spend our day looking at graffiti, but if you went back along the walls in this room and in some of the other rooms, you would actually find graffiti. So sometimes we think graffiti is a very 21st century thing, and it's not. They've been doing it forever. So, questions about the casemates. Yep, this whitewash. For those of you who might volunteer in forts later on, always remember you need to have a special mortar mix. You can't use cement. So what you're seeing here, the people who are here to help, they use cement to put the bricks in. What happens with cement is when it gets hot and cold, it stays the same. What happens with bricks is when they get hot and cold, they expand and contract. So the cement doesn't move, the brick does, the face pops off, and that's what we end up with, seeing the inside of the brick. So, for those of you who will be working in different various sports, always remember, get the right Portland mix. Don't use regular cement, because it doesn't give way. So you see what I mean? Oh, somebody put a nice sealer on. No, there it is. Yeah, as you touch those, you see they just crumble in your hand. Fireplace, we still use our fireplaces over here. So, questions about the dungeons or the casemates. During the Civil War, we locked up Confederate prisoners here as well as Union prisoners. Questions? All right. Yeah, a couple of us will take it out to this derby. This was the Commandant's house in the beginning of the Revolution. This is called the Last Stand,
Yep.
right? So, this would have been a fortified area. When the enemy came over the walls, everybody would have fell back to this area for their last stand. Then, after the war was over, we had the famous architect, Pierre Charles Lafont, and he would design this building for the Commandant's house. Okay? Now, anybody who knows Lafont, you know he's associated with Washington, D.C. Well, Lafont was the kind of guy that he would start working on your building, and then in the middle he would say, hold it, I need more money. What do you do when you have a contractor in the middle of your job and he decides he needs more money? Well, some people give it to him, and some people don't. They didn't. So, we believe he walked out on this job. We know he walked out of Washington, D.C. He took his maps and said, oh, you're not going to pay me what I want? I'm leaving. So, there was a guy named Benjamin Banneker who was familiar with his plan. Actually, he memorized the plan, came back, wrote the plan. So many times you will hear that Benjamin Banneker designed Washington, D.C. Many times you'll hear that. Right? In fact, Lafont was the designer. Benjamin Banneker memorized the plan and made the plan happen. Right? So, yeah, Charles Lafont.